Our world, our lives have changed. Though separated by great distance, the UMaine and UMM Machias communities are stronger than ever, staying connected, continuing to learn and grow online. Our people's expertise and facilities are lending a hand wherever we can best serve our state and our neighbors. Looking out for one another, even when times are tough, is everything it means to be a member of the UMaine family. Tomorrow's future starts today, and we'll get there, together.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for attending this Zoom session with various administrators from the University of Maine at Machias, University of Maine. My name is Chris Richards, and I'm the Interim Vice President of Enrollment Management here at UMaine. I do believe this is the first program like this, a Q&A of accepted students from both UMaine and UMM Machias with our president and the various leadership. So thank you all for attending. We look forward to answering many questions that have already come in and those that we anticipate coming throughout this time with you. With that being said, we're going to jump right in. It is my personal pleasure to introduce Joan Ferrini-Mundy, President of the University of Maine and its regional campus, the University of Maine Machias. Joan, the floor is yours.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be able to be with you virtually tonight. Definitely a first for us, but we are so excited about all of the students who are watching who have been admitted to the University of Maine, and to their families. Congratulations. Your hard work has paid off. We would love to find a way to get to actually see you in the fall. As you know, the University of Maine system has made a clear announcement that it is our plan to be open in face-to-face situations following the safe condition guidelines that we will be watching and working with the state to comply with. But we want to see you here in the fall, and the reason we're getting together with you tonight is to try to answer your many questions, and thank you for all who are sending in those questions. You can send them to umaine.alerts@maine.edu, and we'll keep coming back to the questions through our session. So I just wanted to say a couple of things. First of all, again, my congratulations to you. And as you approach your graduation from high school under these very difficult circumstances right now, we want you to know that we at the University of Maine are rooting for you. We know these last few weeks have been and will continue to be difficult for many of us as we're coping with a very different kind of world. But moving on into college, into higher education is something that we encourage and we hope you are considering very seriously. I wanted to say just a little bit about what it will mean to have students back on campus under safe conditions. We really are watching and working very closely with the state of Maine, with Governor Mills and her staged reopening plan that she announced yesterday. Our first priority is the safety of our students, our faculty, and our staff. And you can be assured that we will absolutely have that front and center over the coming weeks as we plan for what will be possible here in the fall. I should tell you that our Chancellor, Daniel Malloy, has requested that we start a scientific advisory board staffed by University of Maine scientists, leading researchers who are studying the medical literature and other literature about virology daily, so that we can be as current as we can be in terms of what's the science telling us and how do we use that to ensure that we have a safe opening and that we're ready for whatever comes and greets us. We want to be clear with you that our idea is meet our students where they are, and you'll hear a lot more through this call about how we're hoping to be able to do that for you. A couple of quick points. I just took a look at my calendar from today, which this is the culminating event of the day, to get a sense of what a typical day is like here, even now, under these very difficult conditions. First of all, it is Maine Day. And if you don't know Maine Day, go ahead and take a look at the Maine Day website. I'm sure the folks who started it in 1935 didn't recognize that there would ever be a Maine Day like this one, which is being done virtually. It started as a day of spring cleanup for the campus and evolved into a day of service and a focus on helping others. And today we have celebrated Maine Day in a global and virtual way. You can find out more about that online, with encouragement to our students to engage in service work, beautification, pay it forward kinds of activities. So we continue our wonderful traditions here. From there, I went to a webinar on artificial intelligence that a group of our scientists led for us in partnership with others from around the state. Fabulous, great questions from students during that webinar. How do I get involved? How can I learn more about this, whether I'm in business or in computer science or a number of other fields? And I got a chance to visit with the faculty at the University of Maine at Machias, such an incredibly committed group of people, eager to welcome students there and to make their experience as terrific as possible. We are a high quality and an affordable pair of institutions, UMaine and University of Maine at Machias. What I'm going to do next is introduce all the wonderful folks who are on this call, because they will be able to answer your questions very specifically. We're joined today by members of the University of Maine and University of Maine at Machias leadership teams, deans and representatives of our colleges, directors of the divisions at UMaine Machias, members of the admissions team, enrollment management team, student life staff. We hope we have all the folks online who can answer your questions, and if not, we're going to take those questions back and make sure we get answers out to you. I'd like the panelists to quickly introduce themselves, and we'll begin with Interim Provost Faye Gilbert. You're on mute, Provost Gilbert.
Yes, you do that a lot, and you still forget to take yourself off mute. Well, maybe that's the only time that'll happen this entire call. I'm Faye Gilbert, the Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs and Provost, and so glad to be with you all this evening. Robert?
Hi, folks. I'm Robert Dana. I'm the Vice President for Student Life and Dean of Students. It's wonderful to see you virtually. Happy Maine Day. If you were here, we would be having all sorts of wonderful events on campus, and we'd be having a great day where we gave to others, and from that we got a lot. So welcome.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Ken Ralph. I'm Director of Athletics. And for those of you joining us in Orono next year, I'm looking forward to welcoming you to Black Bear Nation.
I'll ask Provost Gilbert to now introduce the members of her team from Academic Affairs.
We have deans, and we begin with Dana.
Hi, my name is Dana Humphrey. I'm Dean of Engineering. Our new engineering building is in the picture right behind me.
We broke ground virtually yesterday. A wonderful day for UMaine.
Hi, I'm Emily Haddad. I'm Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences.
Fred, you're on mute.
Hello, I'm Fred Cervello. I'm the Dean of the College of Natural Sciences, Forestry, and Agriculture, and I'll be glad to help any of you with questions about majors in my college. Thank you.
Good evening from the beautiful state of Maine. I'm Mary Mahoney O'Neill. I'm the Associate Dean in the College of Education and Human Development, and we are here to help.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nick Earhart. I am the Associate Dean for Maine Undergraduate School of Business. I'd say I have an amazing job. I get to work with our students on a range of topics, including studying abroad, transitioning to college, academic performance, career planning, you name it. But ultimately, it's about assuring a valuable and transformative experience for you here for the next 4 years. So I'm looking forward to your questions.
Hello, I'm Michael Weber. I'm the Dean of the Graduate School of Business. Welcome to the event this evening, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Hi, my name is Francois Amar. I'm the Dean of the Honors College at the University of Maine. It's been a beautiful day here, and I decided to celebrate that, and as well as the fact that commencement will be happening only virtually, if that, but we do want to celebrate our graduating students, so I'm wearing my commencement beret. I'll also say, if you're interested in honors, if you go to the virtual admissions page, there's a connection there to a Zoom event that happens later this evening to talk about honors.
Hi, everybody. I'm Patricia Libby. I'm the Associate Dean of the Division of Lifelong Learning. And what that means to you is I'm representing our UMaine Online, Summer University, and Early College.
Wonderful. Thanks all. Dan, how about could you please introduce the division chairs and team from UMaine Machias?
Yep, and I'm Daniel Qualls. I'm the head of campus at UMM and the Vice President of Academic Affairs. And the division chairs, could you introduce yourselves, and then the Dean of Students?
Good evening. My name is Heather Ball, and I am the chair of the Professional Studies Division at the University of Maine at Machias. Within that division, we have the Education Program, the Recreation and Tourism Management Program, the Business and Entrepreneurial Studies Program, and the Individualized Bachelor of College Studies Program. Great to see you.
And hi, I'm Tori Johnson. I'm the chair of the Environmental and Biological Sciences Division at UMaine at Machias. And within our division, we have biology with multiple concentrations, including wildlife and fisheries, as well as allied health. We have our marine biology program, which is quite popular and very hands-on. And beginning in the fall, we will have, pending final approval, an environmental geographic information systems program. And we would love to welcome you to Machias and get you outdoors.
And I'm Marnie Kaler. I'm Dean of Students and Admissions here at the University of Maine Machias, coming to you live from the Bold Coast. So we're very excited to be here, and we're very excited to see you this fall.
Thanks all and welcome. Chris, let's hear from the enrollment management team.
Yes, I'd like to ask all the team, all my team in enrollment management, if you could please introduce yourselves, starting with Connie.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Connie Smith, and I'm the Director of Student Financial Aid as well as Student Employment on both the UMaine Machias campus as well as UMaine. And I look forward to answering all of your questions this afternoon.
Hello, everyone, and congratulations. I'm Latif O'Connor, and I'm the Senior Associate Director of Admissions and Recruitment.
Good afternoon. My name is Nick Ray. I'm the Senior Associate Director of Recruitment at the University of Maine. Thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Hi, my name is Sharon Oliver. I'm Director of Transfer Admissions at UMaine, and I'm very excited to be able to answer any questions you might have tonight.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the University of Maine. Bienvenidos a la Universidad de Maine. It's a pleasure to be here with you all. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to the Office of Admissions. We are there to help, and we will guide you every step of the way. For those folks who may need assistance in Spanish, by all means, request to speak with Silvestre Guzman, and I'm there to help you. So again, bienvenidos a la Universidad de Maine.
Hi, everybody, and congratulations. My name is Taylor Ward. I'm an Associate Director for Recruitment and Retention, and we're going to introduce a couple of students we have on the call as well.
Hello, everyone. My name is Claudia Johnson. I'm a fourth-year transfer student. I study political science and minor in philosophy, and I'm pretty involved here on campus, so I'm happy to answer any questions about that.
Hello, everyone. My name is Will O'Neill. I'm a third-year student here at the University of Maine, completing a dual degree in political science and psychology, and I'm a member of the Honors College, and I'm very excited to be here with you all tonight.
And Dean Dana.
Yes, I'm going to introduce the head of residence life, and there's not a program that you would be wanting for that doesn't exist in student life. We have a tremendously engaged campus with endless opportunity to be involved, from volunteerism to student leadership. There are services from the Career Center to safety services to counseling services and any number of centers for students. But one of the most important things you'll be concerned about tonight will be where you live and how you live on campus. And so I want to introduce Andy Bowen.
Hi, I'm Andy Bowen. I'm the Director of Residence Life here, and I will answer any questions you might have about living in the residence halls.
Terrific. Is that everybody? That's a lot of folks. It occurs to me that because we were so enthusiastic about assembling every possible kind of expertise you could need, you may now not have remembered what name went with what particular area you might have questions about. So we will get that posted somehow. I'm assuming that's possible. The name, the email address, and their title so that you can find folks later. I've been tracking the questions that you're sending in. Great questions. Keep sending them. And they're kind of in three categories. There will be questions that are very technical and individual, where you will need to speak with someone, and we'll make sure that we put you in touch with the right people. There are others that are general, but where we either have an answer already posted on our website or we will put some up, and so we'll also get to those. I'm going to start with a few, and I'll alert Dean Dana that he's coming next after I get started on these. A lot of questions that have to do with everything from when will we know exactly what's happening in the fall to can I drive around campus now? The answer to that is yes, of course. We are under the governor's executive order, but if you're in the area, there's nothing that prohibits a safe drive through the campus at social distancing guidelines. Questions about quarantine for students coming from out of state and what might be required there. Questions about whether we would change the start of school. Answer on that is at this point, no discussion of changing the start of school. Our plan again is to be, if we can at all possibly do this, to be here and open for business in face-to-face classes. But we will be following all of the CDC guidance and governor's guidance, which means that there may be certain social distancing, likely certain social distancing expectations, many safety expectations. I've been getting briefings from our team that's talking about where the hand sanitizer stations will be placed, where the plastic plexiglass screens will go. We are already getting ready to have people back, but we also realize that there will need to be some options for people. What about contingency plans being made if students can't go to campus? Will residence and dining halls be open? Will there be health screening protocols in place? Great questions. All of these topics we're discussing. Just like just about every other university, we can't give you definite answers on any of these. Now, all we can tell you is that the principles we are using are safety first, following scientific guidance and medical guidance from across the country and from our own folks, and also being open for business, making it possible for our students to pursue their learning under the most safe and also high quality opportunities we can provide. Robert, can you add a bit about how you're thinking, what the kind of planning is that's going into now thinking about residential life particularly?
Yeah, well, we want you here. It's a wondrous place to be, and you will love it when you arrive. But to get you here, we want to make sure that every T is crossed and I is dotted. And so we're meeting constantly in many different groups to discuss what are safe options. We're taking guidance from the Federal Centers for Disease Control and also from the Maine Centers for Disease Control. We're thinking, as an example, in residence facilities, which are generally large places where students often live together. We're thinking, is that the best approach? Is it best to be in single situations? We're assessing that. We're waiting for guidance. But wherever you go and however you arrive on campus, it'll be into an enterprise that takes first and foremost every effort to make sure that you're safe, and to make every effort to make sure that you can go to class, that you can study, learn, and live here in a way that's good for you, that feels good, and it works for you. So we're going to keep after that. We're establishing plans. We're waiting for direction.
Great, thank you. I'm going to call on our Director of Athletics, Ken Ralph. There are several questions here about athletics, and I thought it would be good to hear an update from Ken. I don't know if you're tracking them, Ken, as well. I had them.
No, do you have the precise questions?
Here's one. Will there be any varsity or club sports allowed in the fall?
Well, I mean, we're preparing as if we're going to be up and running with the beginning of our fall seasons, but that's going to depend a lot upon what we get for CDC guidelines and the directions we get from the governor and our system leaders. There's a lot of different options on the table, including the idea of being able to play games without spectators or with games established social distancing protocols, which we would be able to live stream to our fans. You know, we want more than anything to be able to get out and compete, but we will not do so until we can ensure the safety of the community.
Ken, there's a related question that says, what are walk-on dates for athletics looking like? Is it likely they will get postponed, and where can I find the walk-on schedule?
Okay, for the flagship campus in Orono, it is very rare that coaches have walk-on opportunities. We have it occasionally in track and field and occasionally in swimming, but very few of the other sports offer walk-on opportunities. For our club sports, which are student-run and go through our Division of Recreation, those dates will be posted at a later time.
Great. There's a question, it's a specific question, but I think it belies a broader concern, which is there a primary communication tool at UMaine that helps students stay connected to their academic priorities and deadlines? And I'm going to turn to the provost, and she may call on someone else, but I'd like to begin by saying that interestingly enough, although we have technologies in many ways to do this, as well as great teams of advisors here, this past few weeks, we have actually used rather old-fashioned approaches to communicating to students, getting lists of students that have not been actively engaged in their courses and calling them up. And maybe some of you have gotten those calls for yourselves or folks in your families, but we're trying very, very diligently to look out for everybody. But Faye, can you tell us a little more about perhaps Navigate and how we use that?
Navigate is the first thing that came to mind. So you'll be asked as an incoming student to download the app, Navigate, and that is a way for you to be reminded and to get notices of things that are due in your schedule. It also has an app of a map, so you won't get lost on campus. So no excuse for being late for the first class, because it'll tell you how to get there. And Claudia, I see you nodding your head. Is that but I don't know that you would have used Navigate, but Mary, you were part of the creation of it. Is that how it'll be working?
It sure will. Navigate is a fantastic communication tool for the campus. With everything from being able to look at your schedule and get reminders of when things are coming, but in this world right now, also a fantastic tool for announcements that can come to you from the campus. So highly encourage you to download the app.
Anything else to add on that question? Anybody?
I don't want to add on that question, President Ferrini-Mundy, but I did want to add to Ken's response, because actually, if you're not a Division I recruited athlete and you're looking for physical activity, we have 20 team club sports at UMaine and hundreds upon hundreds of intramural activities between resident hall floors, between fraternity and sorority groups, between clubs, and those are all accessible to students, and thousands of students take advantage of them. There's a really exciting opportunity for every student, and there's a sport that you will like, I can assure you of that.
Well, thanks for bringing it up, Robert. We know through our statistics that more than 60% of UMaine students are participating in some form of athletic activity through intramurals, clubs, or varsity sports. So thank you.
We have one that's sort of related to this for Dean Haddad about band. Question is, if sports are played without fans, would marching and pep bands not happen next year? Emily.
We'll be coordinating closely with Ken Ralph in athletics on that. Marching band has other roles besides supporting athletics, ditto pep band, and many of the students who have visual and performing arts scholarships are looking forward to participating in those ensembles. So we will be coordinating with athletics, but also want to keep in mind the independent existence of those groups and continue to support that as we can do so safely.
There are several questions about summer. Can I start my college work this summer? How do I find out about online courses? Do we recommend any of the early college summer courses for incoming freshmen? Would like to hear plans about student orientation as well as the backup plans. If June orientation is virtual, will the Marine Science Early College Boot Camp be running this summer? If we don't know, when might we know? And so you get a sense of, one sense I get from this is that you really would like to know dates and when we'll know. And that's maybe the hardest part of all of this, because even the governor's dates yesterday were very tentative, and they talked about needing to maybe pull back on some of that if things change. So this is, I think this ability to maintain a kind of attentiveness during this level of ambiguity is tough. The best thing that I can say is watch our UMaine website. Right there on the banner page, you will see updates daily on everything. As soon as we know a date by which we can tell you something, we're posting those. We are also answering questions and getting information out there. So that's a part of this. But again, I'll turn to the provost and see if she'd like to field the general questions here or turn to other deans.
We have early college for those that are in high school. If you can register for early college and you are from the state of Maine by June 2nd, there's a special program. And we're launching this summer a program for out-of-state students at a discounted rate a very discounted rate to also begin those college courses online at a distance, to begin to get college credit if you're registering before your high school ends. So typically by June 2nd. We are planning a summer start program that if you can register in late June, July timeframe, there'll be 10 to 12 courses for you to choose from. And if you take one or two of those, we have a 1 semester hour course that if you pass your classes, we would then drop the cost of the 1 semester hour course intended to give you some help in starting college early. So summer start, early college, if you're ready to get going, then we do have some opportunities for you to take advantage of. Did I miss anything, Chris, or someone?
Well, I think that summed up the summer university opportunities for sure. The one thing I would like to address, orientation, because we did send out notices today that our June orientation will be happening in a virtual format. We did send that out to students and parents and announce that through social media platforms as well. I think one thing I do want to make clear with all of this is that the decision to be virtual in June isn't a decision on all summer programming. We are making these decisions as we receive guidance, and with the recent orders from our governor and policies that we have in place, we know that that program must be virtual. So we released that today as soon as we could to make sure we get that information to students and families. Our plan is to have information to deliver the critical things that we discuss and go through at orientation in early June. So our goal is to start getting that on the web, get students and families connected with the various resources. It will be much different than the tours and virtual UMaine experience that we've had over the past couple of months. This will be very specific to students to help you get lined up to start your work here and be successful.
And suffice it to say, based on that, Chris, if you have questions about your adaptation to college, getting ready, questions about living, learning, doing, being involved, just the differences that you're about to attend to, please, all you have to do is go to the University of Maine website. There's frequently asked questions. There's A to Z places to look, and you can reach out to Student Life as an example for any question, and we'll get you to the right place.
There was a question about marine sciences specifically.
Yeah.
I think the word used was boot camp.
And please remind everybody who you are, given how long ago you introduced yourself.
Okay, this is Fred Cervello, the Dean of the College of Natural Sciences, Forestry, and Agriculture. There was a question, more specific question embedded in the last one about the marine sciences boot camp. And I think I can answer in general. There are a number of majors that have orientation, experiential, small group activities that are different than the large full university orientation. We're still planning ahead as if they're going to happen, since most of them will be in late August, but they will be subject to the sort of the same changing decision sets we have. But they offer more opportunity to be able to manage them within social distancing. At the program level, a lot of the units will maintain various other communications with you. Some may text regularly, so you probably will learn directly from the department that has the marine sciences major for those sorts of that sorts of planning and looking ahead, and you'll hear about it directly.
Thank you. There are a number of questions that are quite fine-grained about what it will be like here in the fall. What about large classrooms? Are there online courses that I can take to complete my first year at home if I want to wait to move on to campus until my second year? Will there be health screening protocols in place for students coming to campus in the fall? How are we going to protect students from community transmission in the fall? If a student contracts the virus during the semester, will this student be sent home and withdrawn from the current semester? So let me start in on a couple of those, and then Dean Dana can chime in, and then Academic Affairs Faye and others. First of all, on the what about large classrooms, watching the governor's guidance, watching what other states are doing and what other universities are doing, we certainly are paying a lot of attention right now to our large section classes as we look and plan for the fall. We're getting good lists of which classes have which numbers of students in them, what rooms they're meeting in, how we could imagine alternating schedules in some way, varying schedules so that those courses can run, possibly making sure that there are hybrid options for many of our key courses so that a student who might need to go home for a couple of days in the middle of a week, for whatever reasons, still has a way to keep up. We're doing all of that right now, several planning committees in place, but trust me, we are really looking at what the various kinds of pivots might be going forward. And for some of this, I think I'd actually like to turn to Dan Qualls to be sure that we hear a little bit of a Machias perspective on this too. Very different campus, very small, depends upon small classes. And Dan, is there anything you'd like to add on these? And then we'll go to Robert.
We when we talk about reducing the classroom size, our classroom size is most of our classrooms hold like 24 students, and our largest one holds 40. No, how much? Well, anyways, we have one big auditorium classroom in our science building, and it holds around 70 or so. So that one will be off the table. But the other classrooms are small in size regardless. But we're looking at the same topics with resident life and how to go about being as safe as we can for students that are living on campus.
Robert, how about a few of these very specific health-related questions?
Yeah. First of all, currently, if you're coming to Maine from another state or country, there are quarantine requirements, 14-day quarantine requirements. Those may change over time with the governor's guidance, but we'll be anticipating that before students ever were to arrive on campus, and people coming from those distances or those states or nations would get feedback from us. The faculty, the college deans are all working on scenarios for social distancing if required in large classes and in small classes. We are preparing a scenario where health screening could occur if students were coming on campus, and we have a full functioning health center on campus, which is an affiliate of the Northern Light Healthcare System. Eastern Maine Medical Center is on campus. So we're anticipating if that has to happen, yes, we'll do it. And if somebody were to develop COVID-19, they would either be put into our quarantine settings, which we have, or they would be asked to go home.
And then can you, to respond, could you start your college time online and postpone moving to campus? Yes, we'll work with you. We want to meet you where you are and make sure that you begin college in the way you want to start and help you get where you want to go once we have vaccines and this is behind us. So there are courses that you can take that are within, for most majors, that you can take, that you could stay where you are and then plan on joining us in the spring or in 2021 to make progress from summer start all the way through.
But I think I hope what you're hearing and taking from this is that we will be open for business in whatever ways you need us to be, but with an initial and central premise being that it's our hope and our plan that you can be here with us with safe conditions, but at the same time, what you just heard Provost Gilbert describe is typical of the kinds of flexibilities that we are building right now, so that you will have those options as time passes and we understand what's happening really. There are a couple of questions about students coming in, international students coming in, and the challenges that we know our international students are facing relative to closed airports and embassies and everything else. I'm not sure if there's someone here who can take that, or if that's one we should refer to Office of International Programs. Chris, can you say a little bit about this?
Yeah, I would say a lot of these questions are very very specific to the individual student. So it's impossible to really say a general policy. The one thing I will say is that the staff and team under the leadership of Orlina Bativa and our Office of International Programs are truly fantastic people. And the way they work with students and our international students here, and also our domestic students who have been abroad over the past few months, and keeping everyone healthy and safe and getting people home. And the way they managed that challenge was truly incredible. So I would just say, know that there are a wonderful, dedicated group of people here. We want to work with you. So I would advise anyone with those specific questions to reach out directly to the Office of International Programs. And they're there to assist you in whatever questions you may have.
You know, I want to be sure we hear from our students who are here. And there's one question that I'm going to send your way, Claudia and William, and then you can take off from there with whatever you'd like to be sure to get in here. And the question is about how can I get places from the campus? Really, is there transportation on campus to take me to cities such as Boston or even just the town of Orono? I think that's a question sort of about what is community life like here, and I'd love to hear from Claudia and or William, or both.
Yes, so first year students are allowed to have cars on campus, so if you'd like to bring your own vehicle to get around the community, you're more than welcome to do that. We also run a bus route called the Community Connector, which is free to use with your student ID, which will bring you around to the multiple off-campus housing units for students in the Orono community, downtown to where the restaurants are located, and also to Bangor, where you can find shopping malls, larger chain stores like Target and Walmart. Related to getting out of state, from our field house on campus, Concord Coach Lines, which runs throughout New England, will run bus services around Thanksgiving and the end of the semester for students to get home. And I believe that runs as far as New York and New Jersey. So whether you're going home to those states, going to Boston or New York to fly home, there's a wide range of options here on campus to get you where you need to go.
Claudia, anything you'd like to add there?
Have the Bangor Airport as well. That is quite easy to get to from campus.
Okay, great. Great, thank you.
Joan, could I just say one thing that somebody pointed out to me in a chat, that when I mentioned that if a student were to have to go home because of COVID-19, wasn't quarantined per se on campus, if they had to go home, that would not mean that they would have to drop out of school. We have 100 solutions to helping students who would have to leave, and the faculty is very, very helpful in that respect. And Student Life would see to it that everything was done to help you finish the semester, because many students would be able to. They wouldn't be very, very, very sick, even though they might have the disease.
And one thing that I'd point out is that although we are in this horrible time right now with COVID-19, we have students who become ill, who need to be accommodated. We have so much in place already that we activate when we need to, and now we're simply making sure that's all still in place and able to serve the particular needs of particular students. There are a bunch of math questions, and since in a former life I was a math teacher, I'm going to try to take them, but I'll then need to turn to Dean Haddad to actually be sure we get the answers correct. One has to do with the math placement exam. If I'm also taking the Calculus AB AP test and planning on skipping calculus anyway, congratulations to that person. Would it make sense to wait on AP test results before taking the placement exam? There's another placement exam question. Will the 2020 math placement test count even though we were supposed to take the 2016 one? When is the math placement test deadline? I think the general answer is that we are looking to be flexible. We're looking to use previous information that we have about you. We have a great math department, all of our departments, great. I've been sitting in on Math 122 this semester, and am enjoying getting a chance to talk to math students. But Dean Haddad, can you give anything more precise about the AP questions, particularly on the placement exam?
Sure. If you take the placement test, which is free, then we can move ahead with actually enrolling you in a math class. So we always encourage students to take the test earlier rather than later. AP scores, under the best of circumstances, don't generally show up until mid-July. And that can lead to some uncomfortable delays for students who'd like to have a schedule. So we do encourage people to go ahead and take the math placement test, and also to make sure, and Chris Richards can jump in and tell you how, to make sure that you're reporting your AP scores directly to us so that we can adjust your registration if that's appropriate. So take the AP test and take our placement test would be my advice to you.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing, I think one big question that we've seen with AP is a lot of students and families are asking, are you changing how you're reviewing AP credit because the tests are adjusting? And we are not. The university has been very upfront. We are ensuring that our active and current students, we want to do everything we can to ensure that no one is negatively impacted by things outside of their control. And we've made many decisions and changes, or not made changes, in order to support that, like in the case of students submitting their AP exams. So when you do that, those obviously right there, you want to have UMaine be one of the sending schools when you sit for those exams. Another question that's come up related to the 2020 or the 2016 one, where there were two tests posted in Blackboard. I'm happy to let all the students' families know, if you took the wrong one, you're going to be fine. We are able to share the information across those exams. No one needs to take a second math placement exam. I know that's a big question that's come up recently. I'd like to put that out there right now and share the good news on that. So.
Great.
May I make a clarification as well about advanced placement exams? You do not need to send your placement exams to your various colleges. The College Board submits those scores, and we do get them around mid-July, and then that work begins, looking at your courses and whatnot. So rest assured, the College Board actually sends those, and you should have indicated that when you took your exams. And if you didn't, you may want to reach out and let College Board know where you need your scores sent.
There's a very specific question about placement rates for students coming out of business at UMaine. So I will turn to our two business deans to hear from that. To hear on that. And then this is an alert to Chris and to Connie and perhaps others. There are multiple questions about finances, tuition, and scholarships. And so so some of those I think we can take here too. But Michael, or I'm not sure if Michael is there. Nick, Faye, anybody wish to speak to the question about how do our business students do when they graduate?
Nick, do you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. Great question. Really important. We pride ourselves on graduating, on 4-year graduation rate, but the placement rate, getting a job, for us, it's what we try to do and get you ready for a career. So the placement rate for us is well above 90% reported back to us. So it's a good pathway, and we wish it was 100%, but it's darn close. So I know Chris Richards has some data too on that survey, but yeah, great questions, and we link that very much into internships too, which is necessary to again add a resume line to be more competitive and making sure that you land a job once you graduate from here. So,
that relates to another question, a couple of questions that are about generally, what's distinctive about the University of Maine. And what I would say there is, I think people know this, but we are the state's only public research university. We are a land, sea, and space grant university. A major part of our mission is in being able to serve the state through the development of new knowledge, new technologies, new innovations. And we're very strong in those areas. Students have a great chance to be a part of that in everything from some of our internship programs to course experiences in engineering and other areas to early research experiences that are possible in the summer as well as in some courses here. So I think one important feature of the University of Maine is that there's a strong experiential, hands-on, job preparation almost kind of activity for people who are interested in that kind of work. Now, are we set for all of these finance, tuition, and scholarships questions that have to do with some of them fairly technical? What happens to flagship scholarships, for example, if deferring enrollment is an option? What about if students cannot return, what happens to the out-of-state student scholarships and awards? Will they be withdrawn or reduced? My daughter did not qualify for federal work study. What other opportunities are there? Is there someone who'd like to start on those?
Yeah, I'll jump in, and I'm going to prime Connie that I'm going to bounce that to student employment question.
Okay.
So we've got a lot of questions around deferral. You know, if the student decides they want to take a semester or a gap year, what they want to do. That's not a new thing. I know there's lots of questions around it, you know, related to COVID. But we have a very active student body. I think every year I get multiple students who defer because they want to hike the Appalachian Trail in the fall. Awesome, and we support that. So if a student wants to request a deferral, they absolutely can. There's a few things. Number one, the student does have to put down their enrollment deposit and commit to the institution, because what that's going to do is it's going to be the commitment to lock you into school for the following term if you're going to do a one semester deferral, or the following fall if you're going to do a whole year. It is a pause on everything. So if a student defers, your merit award, whatever it may be, will be honored for when you do ultimately start at the institution, and it will be honored for the same number of terms. There's no loss of anything. So rest assured, if that's a decision a student makes, that will be the case. And I'd ask Connie if you could just speak to student employment related to opportunities specifically outside of work study for those students who didn't have work study offered in their financial aid package.
Absolutely. We have many jobs on campus, and to be completely honest, there are more students who are working on non-work study jobs than they are work study. So there is just every little corner of our campus hires student employees. So there's plenty of opportunity. We actually have, along with the Career Center, we have a product called CareerLink, where employers from campus will log their positions so that you can go and seek out a job. Most of the jobs are, just like finding a job off campus. You look to see what you're interested in, and there you may be interviewed, you may just be asked to do an application, but there are a lot of opportunities. And if you're not having luck finding an opportunity, all you have to do is contact our office and we will find you a job.
Can I say one more word to President about the thing about the University of Maine and University of Maine Machias that I think distinguishes these campuses is there's a tremendous connection between the out of classroom experience and the in classroom experience. So there's a real seamlessness there. And there is a tremendous amount to be involved with. These are world-class facilities, world-class speakers, athletics, culture, arts, drama, music, interesting things, service opportunities. It's a world that's very difficult to describe until you arrive. And then you say, wow, it's unbelievable, because the difference between what you're probably doing now and what you'll do in what I like to call the big time, it's worlds apart.
There's a question about marine science, marine biology. I'm going to actually send this one to Tora first and then to Fred. My son is interested in marine biology. How far from the campus is the ocean? You have boats and oceanfront studies. So let's start with Tora.
Sure. So UMaine at Machias is right on the coast, and we have a marine biology program here where you're wet. Even if you do our bridge program, you're wet before you start your classes in the fall, and you're elbow deep in marine sciences. We also have a marine lab at the Down East Institute, and we have a collaborative agreement with the Down East Salmon Federation, which both have hatcheries that are right on the ocean, and so there's opportunities right from the get-go to get involved in those sorts of activities. And one of the great parts about the Machias Marine Science program is it's really small class sizes, really hands-on right from the beginning, right from the get-go. And I'll pass that on there.
Thank you. And Dean Cervello, more to add there?
Yes, and so it depends how you measure the distance in a lot of ways. I can drive 50 minutes and look just like the beautiful Maine coast, but in less than 500 yards is a place where anadromous fish of endangered species in the Penobscot River will have occasional seal come all the way up. I'm only a few miles from campus, and there's an amazing amount of research going on by our marine sciences faculty, and a lot of, or basically all of the students end up in one-on-one capstone projects. And the enormous amount of research that's going on means lots of employment opportunities, which is essentially experience in your discipline. That's that hands-on work. Some of it will go to the Arctic. Some of it will go to Europe. Out on the West Coast, they're working in all of the seas of the world. And so the breadth of opportunities and the amount of opportunities, it's really a buyer's market for the student when it comes to employment at the University of Maine in those areas.
Fairly recently, I was given a tour of a facility where we build buoys. I had known very little about that, but these are data collection devices that are deployed all around the world to help us measure many, many dimensions of our marine environments and the ocean. That was sort of a hidden gem, and there are many, many of those here, as Dean Dana has pointed out. I'm going to turn to Dean Amar, and then just as a warning to everybody who hasn't said anything, the last round will be to call on you all if you have anything to add. But let's first go to Dean Amar, because there are several questions about our terrific and historically important honors program. What are the benefits of it? If we didn't get invited, is there a way we can get in? Is there a course that you can take in early college that could satisfy the honors program? And I don't know if Will also might wish to comment on this, but let's start with Francois.
You're on mute, Francois.
You're on mute, Francois.
Sorry about that. Yes, thank you very much for that question. So I'd say there are two areas that I would like to emphasize about the Honors College. One, of course, is that we're kind of a small college within the large research university, and we're very interdisciplinary. So we connect students to all the different majors, all the other colleges. And so the students really have a chance to focus in very interdisciplinary ways. I would say sort of radically interdisciplinary. So you can get musicians next to business majors or next to engineers, and work on projects that are difficult, wicked problems that need to be solved with all kinds of perspectives. So that's one aspect that I can mention. The other is that it is a program that has a strong tradition. We have a rigorous thesis process, and I think students coming out of this program are extremely well prepared for grad school, professional school, med school, and our students do extremely well in all of those kinds of arenas. In terms of early college, we do have our core course requirements, which also satisfy gen eds. Depending on what you have taken prior, you might be able to use some of those courses for transfer credit into honors. We'd have to evaluate on a case-by-case basis.
Anything to add, Will?
Yes. Personally, for me, being in the Honors College, one of the most rewarding aspects has been the small class sizes. In your first 4 semesters at the university, you'll complete something within the Honors College called the Civilization Sequence. That's a small seminar-style sequence of courses capped at 15 students, where you'll read either portions or full texts, a different one each week. Get together with a faculty member who will serve as your seminar preceptor, and they'll help facilitate the discussion between you and your other peers in that small setting, which also satisfies your general education requirements. So it provides a very cool alternative to the typical general education route, and a very interesting kind of very personal interaction with your professors and your other peers right from your first semester.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to add anything about the Honors College? So this one, I'm not sure we have exactly the right folks, but maybe can someone provide an overview of the University of Maine ROTC program? And if
so This is Dana Humphrey, Dean of the College of Engineering. The Army and Navy ROTC programs both happen to report through the College of Engineering. We have incredible programs. Our Army ROTC program was selected as the best program in the entire Northeast last year. They go through an incredible training program. I actually got to participate in a week of the training at Fort Knox. And what they train is they train leaders. And this is the same both for Army ROTC, Navy ROTC, which of course includes the Marine Corps. So if you're interested in that, please reach out. Would love to take and connect you to those programs.
Thank you. There are a couple of questions about this year, this semester. Okay. Will there be an opportunity to continue with the revised graduation date and a refund for semester and housing costs? So revised graduation date, I think, I'm not sure if it was in this call, but in any case, what we're doing for commencement this year, this semester, is holding a full week of recognition beginning next week, what would have been, what really still is technically commencement week, with many features. And there is a website about this, and I'll see if anyone would like to add information about that. But with planning already underway for a face-to-face commencement, when we can next do that safely, we hope in the fall. We have refunded dollars for room and board because classes did continue this semester. There is no tuition refund planned. However, the CARES Act dollars are here, and we now have, as of today, a process for how those will be distributed. Those will go directly to students, and those are coming out in the next few coming days. So that will be a help, we hope. We also have had a student crisis fund. Our very generous alums and donors put that together very quickly at the beginning of the pandemic to serve our students who had particular need. At this point, we've had a number of requests and we've been able to fulfill them. And we always remain ready to try to provide whatever kind of help we can through whatever mechanisms are available to us as students and families face challenges. So know that that's something you could ask about. Dean Dana, anything to add on that line of questions?
Every service is still available to current students, and I'm thrilled to death to say that many students are taking advantage from using the Career Center to leadership programs to Greek life to counseling services. The Recreation Center is getting a great deal of use virtually, and things like Main Day. So students are enjoying all of those experiences. The CARES Fund will be sent out. We did distribute about $150,000 in emergency funds, which I know was critically important to a number of students. And there are still opportunities for students in critical need to reach out to Student Life, and even at some at the college level. If you have absolute needs, you can certainly reach out, and we'll do everything we can to help.
So we're coming up on the end of our time. We'll do a kind of a lightning round for comments for anyone who has one last point to make. But I think the big point is we're here for you. We want to see you and get to know you. You can ask us questions. Watch the UMaine homepage for updates on our coronavirus site. And I'm just going to sort of go around and try to remember who spoke and who didn't. Sharon.
Thanks. I guess what I would encourage everybody to do is to remember to submit any college transcripts of any courses that you've taken, any dual enrollment or early college courses that you've taken, so that we can get those evaluated and get that transfer credit posted for you. If you took courses that ended before this semester, we would love to have those transcripts now, so we can take the advantage of those while we're registering you for your classes. Same thing with AP test results. If you took AP at the end of your junior year and you haven't sent those to us, get those to us so that we can get them posted for you. And you'll know whether we've got them or not posted because you've got a transfer credit report link in your Main Street student portal. Thanks.
Thank you. Marnie.
Yeah, I just want to say the University of Maine Machias is very, very different than the University of Maine, but we partner so well together. And so we lean on their resources and have so many opportunities for you here. The outdoors is really what we thrive for. We're surrounded by lakes. You can bring your kayak, you can bring your four-wheeler, and we'd love to have you check us out at our homepage. You can see an amazing virtual tour. You can still drive around our campus, but if you're a little bit farther away, please check out on our main page our tour, and you can see the surrounding area, the Bad Little Falls, which is beautiful, and please check us out.
Patricia.
Hi, everybody. What I would like to say is probably your summer is looking a little bit differently than you anticipated. And that may mean that you're spending a little bit more time at home and not out pursuing your summer jobs. So I'd like to really encourage you to think about all the opportunities that we have at UMaine over the summer to really get an early start. And that would be starting right now. I'm sure all of you have already received messaging about early college programs. Is a terrific opportunity for all of our accepted students to engage in either a full waiver or a very deep discount to take up to 6 credits starting May 11th, and then another session starting on June 1st. So I'd really encourage you to look at that. Secondly, and I would say that there are about 52 courses that are up there online for you to choose from. And then again, our summer university for our summer start programs, which will be starting midsummer to late summer. And there will be a specific pathway geared towards first generation students. So I would encourage you to look a little bit more into that, and you'll be receiving some information, but all that's up on Summer University at maine.edu.
Okay, I'm now losing track of who has spoken and who hasn't. I want to be sure we hear from Heather Ball and Silvestre, and then raise your hands or message me if I need to call on others of you. Heather.
Thank you. Again, my name is Heather Ball, and I am from the University of Maine at Machias, and I encourage you to reach out to us with any questions that you may have. Our campus is small. We have a very low faculty-student ratio. Service to the community is really important to our faculty and our students in our rural setting. We are the cornerstone of the local community, and the programs in my division, which again are education, recreation, tourism management, and business programs. We work closely with local schools, local businesses, and local folks that work out in the great outdoors, game wardens and conservation officers. So we hope that you'll come check us out. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, Silvestre, then Latif, and then Nick Ray.
Okay, thank you. Since my colleagues will explain in English, so I will go ahead and say something in Spanish for those folks who might need information in Spanish. So, de nuevo, bienvenidos a la Universidad de Maine. La Universidad de Maine provee una educación estupenda de clase nivel mundial. Así que si decides venir aquí, por favor, avísame, llámame y yo con mucho gusto estaré en contacto contigo para proveer la información que ustedes necesiten. Así que si decides venir, tienen alguna pregunta, por favor, llámenme y yo con gusto le daré esa información que necesitan. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Latif.
Congratulations again. We look forward to seeing you in the fall. If you do have questions, definitely feel free. Do not hesitate to start with the admissions office. If we can't answer the question, we definitely can connect you to someone who can. And I wish everyone a safe and healthy summer.
Great. Nick?
Yes, and I want to tell all the students, we're disappointed you can't be on our campus right now and see our beautiful buildings and our beautiful landscape, but realize what makes the University of Maine so special is its people. It's the faculty, it's the staff, it's the current students. So don't hesitate to reach out to us throughout the summer and let us help you manage this process, and look forward to seeing you on campus this fall.
Great, thank you. Taylor. And then Andy will be the last word.
Just want to ask everyone, could you raise your hand on this panel if you have attended the University of Maine as a student or a current student? That's pretty incredible. If you look at how many of us have stuck around because we believe so much, and the same with Machias, how many of you have degrees from Machias and have stayed? It's incredible, and it's a testament to the community and what this education provides. Everybody else.
Okay, Andy, anything to add?
I'd just like to say that we are spending all of our time now hoping and preparing for new students to come here in the fall. We are looking forward to providing an engaging living experience. If you have any questions between now and when you're here with us, having to do with housing, where you're going to live, who you're going to live with, please reach out. The best way to get a hold of us is by emailing um.housing@maine.edu. We would love to talk to you about this.
So I'll close out. I think what we'll do is find a way to post the list of names and maybe even the photos so you can connect, but everybody who's on this call so that you can get back to people with specific questions. We wanted you to have a full breadth of experience of so many of our great folks at the same time. It's a lot of folks. So we'll get those addresses to you and people's areas of expertise. Watch the UMaine website, call, contact us, get in touch with me directly. I'll put my address out there too. It's joan.ferrini-mundy@maine.edu. We hope you have a safe and healthy spring and summer. We hope we will see many of you, and please do stay in touch with us. Take care. Thank you. Good night.
Our world, our lives have changed. Though separated by great distance, the UMaine and UMM Machias communities are stronger than ever, staying connected, continuing to learn and grow online. Our people's expertise and facilities are lending a hand wherever we can best serve our state and our neighbors. Looking out for one another, even when times are tough, is everything it means to be a member of the UMaine family. Tomorrow's future starts today, and we'll get there together.